Hello, everybody. Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Terry Stiles.
And I'm Jim Hughes. On the way in this edition of Oxford News This Week, a new face in town at the Oxford Police Department. I'll tell you, you're going to want to stay tuned for the sports broadcast. A lot of great things happening in the spring sports with the Oxford High School. And the last story, always waiting for that. You're going to want to stay by.
The Oxford News begins right now. Oxford Village officials are welcoming a new addition to the police department this week. Full-time officer Tyler Schick joins the force after serving with the Charlevoix Police Department. Originally from Rose City, Schick is a graduate of Lake Superior State University. He recently relocated downstate in search of a new opportunity and to be closer to family, and plans to make Oxford community his home as he begins his new role. Village leaders say Schick will be a positive presence in the community, though residents will likely prefer meeting him under friendly circumstances rather than during a traffic stop. In other news, authorities responded to a tragic discovery in Oxford. Police were called after a woman walking her dog found a deceased 36-year-old man along a trail near Scripter Park. The medical examiner has ruled the death a suicide. Jim?
And our good friends at the Fort County Community Foundation, recently helping out again, awarded a grant to the Levi's Link Park, which is located on the Pollyann Trail, and has awarded more than $58,000 in grants to Oxford Township, including adding equipment to the Oxford Senior Center, helping the established community garden at the park, and help to provide free vegetables and herbs to the folks with food insecurity, helping to install a free smoke and carbon monoxide alarms in Oxford households, constructing the Helen Smith Pocket Park, and expanded the Pickle Park for those interested in pursuing a grant from this foundation or donating. You can go to their website. It's real easy, 4ccf.org. They helped us out here a little bit a while back. Terry?
Sure did. Well, this is a program that's sort of dipped its toe into Oxford. The Detroit Institute of Art's Inside Out program has installed 10 beautiful art installations, and they're being placed throughout the Oxford community for all to enjoy. Take a stroll through downtown, explore the different locations, snap some photos, and experience world-class art right here in our community. The map of all the installation locations can be found at the DDA. We can't wait to see our downtown transformed into an open-air art experience for residents and visitors alike. More events and activities around this program, around town, can be found on the DDA website. Jim?
Well, our little village is no longer a secret. Last month, the content creator and influencer personality behind Chow Down Detroit, I've seen this guy's videos too, Sung Lee, cruised downtown Oxford sampling all the culinary scenes has to offer, known as for documenting, for photographing, and reviewing the local eateries. He gets up and eats it in the car. Lee focuses on promoting small mom and pop hidden gems, and he didn't disappoint with this, his YouTube offerings, the blog, by bragging on his blog that he intended to share a load of wings from the tap, but decided to keep them all for himself. And for dessert, Lee took him to a huge bag of goodies from the Magic Brownie. Again, thanks for a nod to Sung Lee, who's a very popular video influencer. Again, I've seen many of his videos. Terry?
He's fun. A celebration of past and investment in the future are both taking shape in Oxford Township. Residents are invited to a May 31st unveiling ceremony along the Pollyann Trail honoring Brace Beamer, the longtime voice of the Lone Ranger on WXYZ. Beamer, who lived in the township for more than 20 years, became a national figure after taking over the role in 1941. The plaque is part of a broader historical marker program momentum recognizing key people and places in local history. At the same time, momentum is building for Levi's Link Park, a new pocket park planned along Lakeville Road. The project recently received $5,000 grant from the Fort County Community Foundation, along with a $2,500 donation from Oxford Forge Dausch Corporation. The park will feature fitness equipment, play areas, sensory station, and an observation deck overlooking Koenig Lake, while also supporting a program designed to improve hospital experiences for patients with special needs. Named after 13-year-old Levi Wilson, the initiative aims to make medical visits more comfortable for families facing developmental changes and challenges. Township officials say more than $75,000 has already been raised for the project, creating strong community partnerships for helping to bring both efforts to life. Jim?
Bridging the gap for pedestrians and cyclists. In case you are wondering what all the raucous is about, I've only been the only time I've ever said raucous, on Seymour Lake Road, here are the details. Hats off to the hardworking crew from Miller Bridge Construction on Monday. Workers were on there, the south side of Seymour Lake, busily building a boardwalk that will be a part of the new safety path connecting Dunlap and Sanders Roads. With the exception of the boardwalk, the rest of the path will consist of asphalt surfacing. Later this year, CJ Carnacchio, the Township Communications and Grants Manager, will apply for a Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP grant for short, through the Southeast Michigan Council of Governments, the SEMCOG, to hopefully help fund the project. The construction of the rest of the path from Sanders Road to Oxford's 132-acre Seymour Lake Township Park. Maintenance and expansion of the township safety path system is overseen by the committee consisting of Supervisor Jack Curtis, Trustee Dave Wagner, Rod Charles. Again, we're looking forward to that. Terry?
And thanks for those photos, CJ. In local election news, the Oxford Township Clerk's Department is seeking election inspectors for the upcoming August 4th primary election and the November 3rd general election. Residents interested in serving as elections inspectors can contact administrative assistant to the clerk, Kelly Richter, by email at Richter, and it's RICHTER at oxfordtownship.gov. By phone, you can contact Kelly at 248-628-9787, extension 106, or in person at the Oxford Township Hall, located at 300 Dunlap Road. Election chairs persons and elect poll book inspectors earn $250 a day, while election inspectors receive $200. Chairpersons and inspectors who return to Township Hall for the receiving board at the conclusion of the election day receives an additional $25. The township typically requires 5 to 7 workers per precinct across its 5 precincts. They must take off without giving in the numbers or something. Jim, it's for you now.
And in school-related news, Oxford High School's robotics team and the Oxford RoboCats competed over the last weekend for the first in the Michigan State Championship that was actually held at Saginaw Valley State University. Congratulating them, the RoboCats finished qualification rounds with a 9-3 record and in ranked 3rd out of 41 teams in the Hemlock Superconductor Division, Team 2137. Selected Team 2960, Automation Nation from Birmingham, and Team 5675, the Wired Cats from Matawan, Michigan, to form the playoff alliance. During the divisional playoff competition, the alliance secured a win at match 4 with a score of 497 to 240, advancing to the upper bracket match 8, where they earned a victory at 442 to 397. In the upper bracket match 11, the alliance was defeated 451 to 486, sending them to the lower bracket in March 13th. Follow along, Terry. The RoboCats alliance was eliminated after the 464 to 435 loss. Despite the elimination and the team's performance, it was strong enough to qualify them for the first championship in Houston, Texas, taking place on April 29th through May 2nd at the George R. Brown Convention Center. This marks the third consecutive team 2137 has advanced to the World Championships in that level. The RoboCats Drive team includes Max P. Mentor, Drew S., and Avery G., with support from Neil H. and Will B. To follow the progress, team2137.com. Follow them at team2137.com. Follow them also on Facebook or Instagram. Again, congratulating them on their endeavors.
And in our last story, it's kind of a personal one. A week or so, it's school-related news. On April 16th, the school board held a meeting that was not a regular board meeting, despite being reported as such by the Oxford Leader. As OCTV began setting up to record, a member of the superintendent's office approached the staff and asked whether OCTV typically attends meetings that are not officially designed or designated as a regular board meeting. The OCTV employee contacted me, Terry Stiles, I'm the manager of OCTV, and considering that 2 days earlier I implemented reduced staff hours due to budgetary constraints, I made the decision not to continue covering an event that OCTV is neither mandated nor compensated to attend. Following this, the Oxford Leader published an article suggesting clarification regarding whether OCTV had been asked to leave and implying that the decision not to cover the meeting was solely OCTV's, which it was. Since that time, OCTV and I personally have been accused of dishonesty, unethical conduct, and misrepresentation of the facts by accusing OCTV of conspiring to cover up something for the school board. I have served this community for 28 years, covering both positive and challenging stories, and I have held leadership roles on numerous boards, including president of the village and of the Oxford Chamber. I want to state clearly that there was no intent, conspiratorial or otherwise, behind the decision not to cover this meeting. It was a financial and operational judgment call made by me in the interest of responsible resource management. Moving forward, OCTV remains committed to serving this community with professionalism, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. And we trust that the community will extend the same respect and understanding in return. Sorry about that, Jim. I know that was a surprise to you.
I'm almost afraid to ask you what you're reading now.
Didn't give you the heads up. That's the last story. OCTV has a really good name in this community, and a couple parents have made a big deal over the fact that I pulled Kyle from a meeting, and so
Definitely not.
I had to say
it's not
that
something we've ever done. We've always covered all aspects, and there have been actually aspects, and I will go out on a limb and say it, that there have been aspects where we've actually seen a story and said, maybe that's for the bigger TV stations and not us. But I mean, we've been at all the boards, and again, this ties into what we've been echoing for the last 2-3 months.
Yep.
Funding for our operation is coming to a close but final end. You won't see sports here. You won't see plays here. You won't see anything here if we do not get funded in the next 2 years. Now, that is on you. If you want us to cover this stuff, you definitely have to. I mean, it's a new legislation with streamers. If you stream Netflix, if you stream anything, and I'm not even picking on Netflix. I mean, we all stream. If you say you don't stream, I don't believe that, okay? Cable companies, Spectrum and AT&T, have got to, they put their fair share in, and there's a bill up in our state capitol. That's why Terry wasn't here the last newscast. She was up there talking to our congresspeople in regards to this, okay? We've covered multiple sporting events. We've had people come up to us saying that they watch our sporting events down in other states. So as an addendum to Terry and the budget constraints that are here at OCTV, I've been here for a long time. It is definitely a decision hard made not to cover something. We want to cover it. I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, if this community wants to lay accusations out to a TV station because we didn't cover something, maybe make a donation. That's all I can say about that. We will be back shortly. I will ask Terry what she's reading at the end of this newscast. That kind of steamed me a little bit myself. Stay with us because Science and Auto Talk are coming up with Dave Kenny. I will have a look at Oxford sports that we are covering still on Oxford News this week. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and this story is taken from New Scientist. Buoy measurements show the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, or AMOC for short, which moderates Europe's climate, is weakening at 4 different latitudes, the strongest evidence so far that this system of ocean currents is slowing and could be heading towards collapse. Part of the ocean conveyor belt of currents circling the globe, the AMOC brings warm, salty water from the Gulf of Mexico to the North Atlantic, keeping temperatures in Western Europe milder than in Canada and Russia. The dense water then cools and sinks, moving south on the seafloor along the western side of the Atlantic. Analysis of old ocean temperature readings suggests the AMOC has weakened 15% since 1950, and some computer modeling has warned it could shut down within decades. But scientists have been measuring it directly for only about 2 decades, not long enough to draw firm conclusions. Now, a study in the Western Atlantic has shown more convincingly that the AMOC is slowing. The Atlantic circulation is weakening at the western boundary, and we use multiple latitudes of the basin array data to confirm such a signal from the western boundary is consistent across the wider North Atlantic, says Chenjiang Xing at the University of Miami in Florida, who led the study. In 2004, the University of Miami and other institutions installed a line of anchored moorings from the Bahamas to the Canary Islands called Rapid MOCA. With this array's measurement of temperature, salinity, and velocity, scientists estimate pressure, or how much water is effectively stacked up on either side of the Atlantic, according to team member Shane Elliott, also at the University of Miami. Water flows from areas of high pressure to areas of low pressure, but it's deflected to the right by the counterclockwise rotation of Earth, driving the overturning circulation. Changes in pressure, therefore, can indicate changes in AMOC strength. The study's analysis of the latest rapid MOCA data shows that the flow of the AMOC is declining by about 90,000 cubic meters of water per second per year, a faster rate than what was previously been observed. That means between 2004 and 2023, the AMOC weakened by about 10%. But the uncertainty range of this change in flow is almost as large as the change itself. For this reason, Shin's study also analyzes pressure changes at 3 mooring arrays that have been installed since 2004 in the Western Atlantic off the West Indies, the U.S. East Coast, and Nova Scotia, Canada. There, it finds even greater weakening of the AMOC, which much less uncertainty. It's the strongest direct observational evidence so far that the AMOC is weakening, as models have long shown, says Stefan Rahmstorf at the University of Potsdam in Germany, who wasn't involved in the research. Scientists think fresh water from the melting of the Greenland ice sheet is diluting the dense, salty water of the AMOC, so it sinks more slowly, weakening the southward flow along the bottom of the Western Atlantic. The declining trend observed by the study at 4 latitudes in the Western Atlantic suggests this is indeed what's happening. We expect to see that in deep western boundaries, says team member David Smead of the UK's National Oceanography Centre. It gives us confidence that this interpretation is correct. They show for the first time I'm aware of that this is the very coherent picture of deep western overturning weakening for all different kinds of latitudes, says René van Westen at Utrecht University in the Netherlands, who wasn't part of the research. The findings underscore the need for more observations to try to understand whether the AMOC is heading for collapse, according to Elipet. A collapse would cause dramatically colder winters in Europe and could disrupt Asian and African monsoons. The trend would be consistent with going towards the tipping point, he says. Yikes. That was very technical, but kind of scary. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny.
As promised, Oxford sports. Yes, spring sports all underway. Oxford baseball defeating Stony Creek 2-0, improving to a 16-1 overall, 6-1 in the OAA Red. The victory actually marked the 200th career win for head coach Dave Herrick. The team will host Plymouth for a doubleheader on Saturday. Additionally, a suspended game against Rochester has actually been rescheduled for Wednesday. Now, all intentions are we will be there to cover it, providing weather does go along with that. Again, congratulating Dave Herrick on the 200 and Oxford baseball on their 16-1. The team swept a doubleheader in girls softball at Bloomfield Hills with a score of 6-2 and 11-10. Their record stands at 9-5 overall, 4-2 in league play. Congratulations there. Girls soccer team secured a 3-0 victory road win over Goodrich and will play Lake Orion coming up. They also returned and competed in the OAA Red League match against Troy, resulting in a 2-1 loss. They took a loss there. In lacrosse, the girls lacrosse team defeated West Bloomfield 19-1, improving to 5-1 in league play. The boys lacrosse team earned a 19-3 road victory over Troy, but fell 6-5 in a competitive game against Bloomfield Hills. Let's go to the lanes. Bowling. We're proud to announce Ethan Wardrop continuing his bowling career at the collegiate level as he signed a letter of intent. A lot of great sports happening. We'll be back with more. You're watching Oxford News This Week.
In today's digital world, it's hard to know who to trust. Your local TV and radio stations bring you the facts. Misinformation and deep fakes flood social media, but broadcasters deliver verified and accurate news. For news, emergency updates, sports, and entertainment, turn to your local stations. Text TV to 52886 and urge Congress to support the vital local journalism broadcasters provide.
In our Behind the Lens segment, while walking to work recently, Diane Gordon from White Lake, Michigan found $15,000 in a bag. Diane stated she could really use that kind of money because she had been walking to work 5 miles every day since her car broke down, but because it simply did not belong to her, she found a way to return that money to, it turns out, newlyweds. Her community found out about the exceptional honesty and they raised more than $63,000 for her. Now Diane Gordon is out shopping for a new car. Pretty cool story, eh? I like that
And
story.
honesty always does pay off, even though
It
you have to
does.
ask yourself the question, $15,000, and if you need money, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
And to be in that position where you're walking to work,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, it's one of those questions. We posed it around the office here, and I mean, that's a lot of money, okay?
Everybody hesitated. Well, yes, I would.
Yeah,
I would.
and be like, yeah, you can take it. It's like Whoopi in the movie Ghost. Remember when she's handing the check over? Anyways, we get to the point here. Normally we ask a bit earlier, but we were on a little bit of a tangent earlier. Not that it wasn't a good tangent. What are you reading or what's going on in the car? I know you had a big long trip to Grand Haven or something.
Yeah, I didn't. I was supposed to go to the marathon, Boston, but that got waylaid.
Oh, yeah.
So I went to Grand Haven. But speaking of honesty, I'm reading, this was my week of honesty. I honestly pulled Kyle for a simple reason, and it turned out to be a big mess. But this book I'm reading is called Symphony of Secrets.
Oh.
And it's about, I don't even know who the writer is. It's about a 1920s jazz player
Oh.
who went around the world and with his music, everybody thought he was brilliant, and turns out this scholar has been studying him now in the 2000s.
Oh, wow.
And found out that he didn't write the music. It was a black woman who was autistic,
Oh,
and
gee.
he stole her music.
Oh,
he
wow.
kept her in chained up in an apartment, not chained, but he kept her locked in an apartment
Yeah.
while she wrote music day in and day out. It
And
was
he was
an
taking
obsession.
credit for it.
And he took credit,
Ooh.
became rich. I'm not to the end of the book yet. Hopefully, honesty will prevail, and we'll find out what
Well,
happens. I'll let you know.
I guess you would say honesty prevailed because the book got written.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's a true story or not. I
Oh,
think it's
okay.
a
Well, anyways,
fiction,
that's
but
what
it's a
she's reading
really
on the
good
Terry Book
story.
Club.
It-
If
Symphony
you're-
of Secrets is what
Right,
it's called.
Symphony of Secrets. And
Very
again, we
good.
always like to remind our folks out there, it's the unofficial part of our newscast when we ask what she's reading or picking up on the media end of it all. Maybe you can as you get into summer and some nice spring. And I even put you onto this thing, which I hate to tell you where it's at, but remember that little streaming thing where it's called Book Nook?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that kind of
That's
defeats
fun.
our argument. It's a streamer from Roku.
It is a
but-
streaming thing.
And anyways, again, what we said a bit earlier still applies now. Again, Terry was up in Lansing trying to get some input there. Well, real fast, what was that all about?
So because streamers don't have to pay to use our rights of way, and cable stations do, Spectrum, AT&T, and Charter,
Yeah.
they're arguing that if they don't have to pay, the AT&T and Charter are not going to have to pay.
Right.
What the argument is we need to also charge streaming companies to use our rights away. They're using them free, rent free right
Right,
now.
right, yep.
Even if it was a penny per bill,
Right.
per streaming,
Streamer.
we would be able to stay in business, and it's not going to hurt you. Everybody knows they're paying to stream Disney and Hulu.
Right.
So one more penny a month is not going to hurt
Right, and
anybody.
in your baseball game, you do that too. But I mean, to see what we brought over the last time, I think we've roughly accounted for 35 years of broadcasting here at OCTV. Terry and I hate to say it, we've been here part of most of it. Where we started out in a schoolroom, we migrated to another studio, and then we're back at the main studio here. The station has definitely flourished. It's been a part of the community.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been out there. Every Memorial Day, we're out there. We film those, and I mean, that's that is our civic duty anyway. But what I'm saying is that
We're the recorders of the history of this community.
I mean, I hate to keep going to the same streamer, but these streamers, like, you'll get hooked. You got your favorite show on there, and they'll be, well, we're gonna hike the price up $2. We pay it, okay?
Yep.
That's what we do, okay?
But we're not getting the
Any revenue from that. So it would
yeah.
be beneficial if this station is a benefit to you. And I mean, there's a lot of people that come out to us and they see the sporting events, they see the musical programs, they see, good times, bad times, they see special programs on here. I mean, we are trying to reinvent the wheel ourselves here and try to stay in business. And that's all. That's what it's all
We're
about.
looking for sponsorships, and we are cutting down on programming that we're covering. Somebody called to see if we were covering baccalaureate. There's concerts every night of the week,
Right.
and we're cutting down on those. But we do need to wrap this up. And so if you're interested, call us at the station.
OCTV can be viewed on Spectrum Charter Channel 191, Channel 99 on AT&T, the Uverse system. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Amazon Fire Stick, and Roku. If you have a show idea, would like to volunteer at OCTV, give our station a call at 248-628-9658. Special thank you to producer and director, the guy that wraps it for us, Kyle Snage, station manager Terry Stiles, for everyone here at OCTV. I'm Jim Hughes, hoping you have a safe week. And again, we'll invite you back next time, and we both will take a look at Oxford News this week.